What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another Grizz 901. I am your host, Daniel Greer. I am a little irritated with the technical difficulties that we had. As you can tell, my mouth is a little off from my words at the moment, so I'm hoping to kind of get those back in sync. So I'm going to work on it. We'll get that back eventually throughout the entire show, so just kind of stay with me. Maybe just close your eyes, kind of similar to how I felt like the Grizzlies need to just close their eyes and just hope for the best, similar to what us fans did. But tonight, coming off of a 134-125 loss by the Grizzlies, now they are completely looking at the play-in situation, and we're going to get into all of that a little bit later. So about I'd say 3/4 through the show, as we close the show, I'm going to ask some questions that are kind of revolving around the play-in scenario. But midway through the show, as we always do, we'll get you with a little Grizz trivia for sure. But Nate's here. I'm here. Let's go ahead and break down the entire game. Let's get to it. All right, Nate, let's get you in here. I don't know why I'm having so many technical difficulties tonight, but Nate, listen, off the top, man, Steph goes for a 50-plus burger. Like, it was another Steph performance that you have to look at and say, hey, like, that's why he's like top, we'll just say top 10 in the game. Best shooter of all time by all means, but 52 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. Off the top, what you got?
Not sure that's going to be enough, to be honest with you. Steph, best player of his generation? Hot take. Dude.
Wow.
That's one of those games you just like. I wouldn't even be mad if everything hadn't gone the way it's gone the past 2 months. Like, Grizz, I thought, played super well that game, to be honest with you. I'm like, they played super well. The problem was they gave up 45 in the first quarter of a back-to-back, and they clearly lost their legs by the end of the game.
Yep.
And you like, it took a Steph masterclass to get 45 in the first and then get to where they got. I mean, listen, the Grizzlies have not defended a three very well most of the year.
Right.
Dude, Steph's just hitting stuff that you're just like, I don't even know what you want. Like, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's seriously like just a tip your hat. Like, I don't know what you want to do. It's not like the Grizzlies were playing terrible defense.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want them to do at that point. They defended everybody else pretty well from the line tonight.
Yeah. Well,
how many threes did the Warriors have tonight?
That's what I was about to look at real quick. How many was it?
Let me double check.
They were 22 of 56, 39.3%.
They hit 22 threes and Steph hit 12.
Right. Listen, it wasn't a game that you look at and be like, the other guys killed you. It was the head dude that completely just beat you to shreds tonight. And so at that point, you tip your cap to one of the best of all time. Okay. That part sucks. But like, we're going to get into what the scenarios of this team are now, but let's go ahead and continue to keep going. Like, we've seen now, this is 3 games in a row. Obviously, the Grizzlies fired Taylor Jenkins. But then at that point, you do lose your coach. You hope that you get the I guess the firing of the coach a little boost, right? Well, that has not happened, right? But what you're seeing is the first quarter, the Grizzlies are, getting outplayed for sure, right? And at that point, second quarter maybe comes and they catch up a little bit. They kind of make it somewhat of an entertaining game. Third quarter comes, they're starting to play pretty well. Fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter, they're okay. They're back and forth. And then it's literally the last like 5 or 6 minutes. Tonight, it was the last 2 to 3 minutes where it was just the best team just running off from you and having a better player on the court and having vets that can down the stretch actually make the right passes, the right plays. No matter if they do have 2 younger guys on the court with the 3 vets for the Warriors, like, realistically, they're just a veteran-laden team, and the Grizzlies have none of that.
Well, and to be clear, just so Lauren, We're drinking trashy tonight.
Man, I cannot do Jameson.
Yeah, me either most nights, but we're going back to tonight. We're going back to the land of my people for tonight. I disagree with you. I think the team has played with a little more oomph behind them. The 2 games I've got to watch, and it sounded like the Lakers game. I don't know what to tell you,
Morant.
Sure. Whatever. The team just looks like they have more fight in them. I don't know what to tell you. Whether it's all Ja or not, it looks different. Sorry. And that matters. That matters. I'm not sitting there saying like Coach, who I still can't say his name, is sitting there going to take this team to the next stratosphere. But team looks better. Looks like there's more energy. If you want to say it's just Ja, that counts. Sure. So I disagree with you that nothing looks different. They only played 8 players tonight, which I think everybody noticed. 9 players, I'm sorry. Bagley got 2 minutes. So I guess that counts. I didn't think anything was terrible tonight. Other than the Jaren fouls. He's clearly letting his frustrations get to him, man. Like he's clearly frustrated, which you don't want to see him getting those dumb fouls, getting too frustrated. You do want to see him caring. Yeah. You know, and that quote came out the other night. Everybody saw that quote, was like, oh, you know, it's not great. But I think the one thing is the team cares, and he cares a ton about this. And you see that. He's got to be able to control his emotions. But all in all, dude, I thought you had the John Moran experience tonight. I thought Dez actually played pretty well. Not as well as you really need him to play, given what you're working with. But Jalen Wells played well. Everybody seemed to fill the role pretty well tonight. You just went up against, like, premier Steph Curry. Yep. I mean, if Steph Curry has a normal, like an average night, like that's you walk away with that win. Yeah. You do. If he just has a normal night. And he had, I mean, like vintage playoff stuff. Like, I don't know what you want the Grizzlies to do about that. Yep. Now, the fact is, the Grizzlies have been straight up cheeks for like 2 months. They've lost a ton of games, and they have killed themselves in wiggle room. But to be honest, the effort I saw against most of the Celtics game, and then in this game, if you hadn't had those 2 months, I'd have been like, man, not much you can do. Those nights happen. I don't hate this loss. I just don't. Other than the fact it's a loss, right? And you've had a lot of those lately. But
yeah, well, that's the issue, is all the piled up losses. But listen, I don't know what else to say. But I think Chuck very eloquently described all here. Like, let's just go increase our NIL and go get someone in the transfer portal. That's what makes sense to me, right? At this point, that's where we are, right? Let's change something completely up. But the fact is that, like, when you have a step performance like you had, especially in the first half, he very much so cooled off in the second. But like, he wasn't the reason that they ended up winning that game. He was like the guy who was completely just a complete badass in the first half, and very much was a guy who completely sealed it. But it still took the rest of their team all of the third quarter, most of the fourth quarter, without him being a big factor, which when you have vets, when you have guys that know their role, this team doesn't exactly have that yet. Like that, at that point, you have to say, like, that's just the better team. Like, and I know that you had the performance in the first half brought it, but still, I just don't understand. Like, this team is not going to win. They're not going to figure it out. I'm out on the season. Like, I think I'm done. Like, I don't care if we end up getting into the play-in or not. Like, I just don't understand how that this season anything good can come out of it, in my opinion. Is that too far off the ledge?
Yes. Because if you look at the way the Grizzlies play tonight, and I agree, like, it's the Warriors carried with Steph on the bench going into the fourth. Right at the beginning of the fourth, the Grizzly legs were gone, man. Like, Jaren missed 3 straight corner threes in a row.
Hold on.
What are you mad about?
You're saying that their legs are gone. I get it. It's a back-to-back, but you're literally playing a team who haven't got anybody over 35 minutes. I know we played 5 people, but they had They had Draymond Green with 33, right? And then you had Butler 38, Curry 37, and Moody 36. Like, I get it. They played 9 people, and we played 8.
I'm not saying this as a theoretical thing. I watched these shots hit the front of the rim, and I watched these balls land short for like the entirety of the fourth quarter. It's not like, hey, I sitting there and like, their legs were probably tired. No, I watched the ball come up short time and time and time and time and time and time again in that fourth quarter.
But
Like,
is that
and
just
that's
an
like,
excuse?
what is that? Like, if you're sitting there and you're popping off all night long, and the team was playing well all night long, and all of a sudden the ball starts hitting the front of the rim every time you go around, and Josh starts making sloppy passes he hadn't been making all game, that indicates that your legs are tired. That's what it looks like to me.
Okay.
They did have heart tonight, man. Listen, I'm with everybody. They have killed all their wiggle room. They have played terrible for 2 months, and so this isn't just another loss. This is the home stretch of the season. You need to get wins. But if you want to tell me hey, they need to get these wins. Yeah, they need to get these wins. At the same time, bro, I don't know what to tell you. I thought they played well tonight. I thought they played with a ton of heart tonight. And I think they win that game if Steph isn't just going bat so nuts all game. Like,
see, I disagree.
52. I think they win that game if Steph has his like normal good night. Not just like an average night, a normal good night for Steph. Grizz win that game. I don't know what to tell you.
See, I disagree. Like, I know that I know since everybody ends up, you fire your coach, everybody's all about moral victories. Like, I'm done with the moral victories. Like, it's too late in the season. I don't care how you lose. You lose. If it is to a 52 burger from Steph, that's fine. If it's 45 in the first half, that's fine. But like, realistically, you still lost. I don't care if he scores 30. I like, they're going to figure out another 22 points somehow spread around. Like,
it's just not true.
I know Steph was awesome.
He's hitting great open looks. He's just like draining it, like behind, like he gets like this much room, and he's hitting a 3. Like, there's just nobody else is hitting that shot, and most of them didn't. They only made 10 other threes as a team the entire night, dude, and they were getting them up. Like, it's like that's just not true. They're just not finding those points from everybody else. So
I disagree. It's just it's not like an obscene amount, but whatever. We'll agree to disagree but we'll agree that you're wrong. But let's go ahead. Let's keep it moving.
Sure. And listen, I'm pissed that they lost. I threw my phone like 3 times. I was about to get served papers by my wife for the words that were coming out of my mouth. I'm like pissed. I'm pissed about the loss too. But I'm pissed. I think everyone's super mad about everything that's been happening, as you should be. But if you look at what happened tonight, you look at the next stretch. Heat, day off. Pistons, couple days off. Charlotte, then you go to the Timberwolves. You rattle off those 4 in a row, you're probably staying out of the play-in. And there's no reason, if they play like they played tonight, they can't do that.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at. Now, if you think, hey, they're going to go back to being cheeks, then there you go. Like, they go back to being cheeks. But like the effort they gave tonight, if they give it the rest of the season, I think they hold on to a playoff spot, 6 or 5. And then at that point, you're doing what you're doing. Probably not going to go well no matter where you land if you make the playoffs. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, I do have a question. Alan's asking a good question, and I'm going to let you answer this, Nate. But he's asking the question, did DG bet on this game? We look good outside of 1 quarter.
Yeah, Daniel bet on the Warriors. I really thought they were going to win this game tonight, man. I thought they were going to pull this one out.
Let me just be honest. I bet prior to the game, and I even sent a message to coaching company, our group text, and I said, if you want to get a good number, then this is midway through the third quarter, you're going to get it roughly about 8:50, 8:30, because Steph comes back in about 8 minutes, and about 6 or so minutes with the rest of the game is right when I think the flood will happen. It happened at 3 or 4 minutes, so I was a little wrong, but the flood happened, so y'all got really good numbers, money line numbers. So anyway, I thought it was funny. Listen, I bet with my brain, not my heart, most of the time. At least I try to. But in all honesty, like, I just feel like the Grizzlies, they can't execute down the stretch when it comes down to it. Like, that's where the flaw is. And yes, if you want to have the thought process of this team is they're playing much better. I would agree. They're playing much harder. They're playing with, much more spirited. I agree with all of that. The issue is those were 3 must-win games with the Lakers, with the Warriors, and then also who was it? The Celtics. Those are all 3 must-win games. Okay, and I won't say that every single one of them like you had to have them, but like they were games that you really, really needed. Like just somehow, some way, you need to pull those out. And the Grizzlies all came up short in all 3. So now, what does that do to your mindset? What does that do to your mentals? Does that say, "Hey, F this, F it all, I'm done, see you later"? Or does it piss them off even more and actually tune it in and take care of business against the Heat? Is the Heat Thursday?
Yeah, it is Thursday.
Heat's Thursday. By the way, it's a TNT game, early game. At this time, I do have a solid verbal commitment, since we're on the NIL conversations, from John Roser. So John Roser, all the Rosebuds should be tuning in, but John Roser should be here Thursday night. Nate will be off, so we'll have definitely an upgrade of a co-host or a guest that night. So either way, let's get into a little bit of the game. And all right, I see a lot of questions about, are we going to miss the playoffs? Let me go ahead and hit it now. Let me just ask this question and let's go and break it, because I don't want to miss this. Do you believe, Art wants to know, do you believe that we missed the playoffs?
No.
You can't miss the playoffs at this point. But
let me
adjust this question.
If you lose in the play-in twice.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's just say the top 10, the Grizzlies are in it. Do you think the Grizzlies can hold off into the top 6? They're right now in the 6th position.
You got to rattle off these next 4. I think these next 4 determine if you end up making the top 6 or not. I think you got to win them all. I think you got to win. Like, you rattle off 4 because you need the 3 just against Miami, Detroit, Charlotte, which the way the Grizzlies have played, they could lose any of these games, right? I mean, they could lose any of them. But they can also win any of those games if they play the way they play tonight. You got to have those 3 just to have them. And then the Timberwolves, you got to have to fend them off, right? I think that's theoretically who you're fighting against, more than likely. Like them and the Clippers, right?
Yeah.
So you got to try and fend them off, try and stay out of it. But
Jackson's got a good response here. Not homeless, though.
That's true. Not yet. But let's see, things are going okay. But I think you have to win these next 4 to stay out of the plan. If they stay in the plan, I do like their chances to stay in it. Which honestly, hear me out. Getting that 7th spot and ended up against Houston, not the worst thing in the world.
Okay.
It's not, like, okay, because here's the other things you're looking at. You're playing against Denver or LeBron and Luka Lakers or championship vets Warriors. Or you against Jalen Green, Şengün, and playoff Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, but in all honesty, like I get what you're saying.
You're probably in trouble no matter what. But
yeah, I was about to say, it doesn't matter who you play.
If we're looking at what could possibly happen, like if you had to play out, this is what we're going to end up getting to, and you can say, we're going to have this. We can pick our poison. 7 seed against Houston's probably the poison a lot of people are picking. You're probably losing no matter what. But if you're like going to pull one out, like let's say you find yourself somehow pulling out, I'm probably taking that series out of all the other ones.
Okay.
Like, let's be honest. Of all the teams in there, that's probably who you're picking. I don't think you win that series, to be clear.
No, you're not winning any series.
But if you're going to be the most competitive anyone, I'm saying that's probably the one you go.
I hate being the negative guy. I'm being honest. Like I've accepted this season is what it is. And so by all means, I would love to be wrong. But at this point, like the way that they're playing, yes, you can take a moral victory. You can say that, yes, they're playing much better, but really you're playing much better and you're still losing. That's what scares me even more. Is it's not that they're doing something that they're not playing well enough to win.
Sure.
You're getting Ja Morant. You're getting him playing the way he plays. Without him, which that's he set out on his own will, and his coach gets fired and he comes back the next game. That's on him. That's pie in his face. It looks bad. It is what it is. Be a professional. But now he's back and he's playing well. I will give him that. But the problem is it too little too late? And so sometimes when you get in your feelings, and sometimes when you do stuff like this is what you get. And it goes to show, like, you have to be a professional. I will say that through and through. And I get that he's had his issues, but this one was on him. And I'm not saying the whole season. I'm saying missing games when I think he could have played, and obviously he could have played. This is where they come down to. But tonight, tonight and every night, the roster doesn't look good. Just overall, that's understood. We'll talk about the roster much later. I'm hoping we don't have to talk about it too much right now. But let's get into Jaren's early fouls. 2 early fouls. He ends up fouling out of the game. Why?
Why did he foul? Because he fouled. I don't know what to tell you.
It just always seems that vets know what to do against him.
The one that got him was the 5th foul. The 5th foul was the one that super got him. The 2nd foul and the 5th foul are really got him, right? You can't. Yeah. He was frustrated, so he held dude who I don't know his name, but he had some threes tonight.
Rudy?
No. Costa, is that his name? I don't know. I'm thinking about sunglasses. No, other dude. Anyways, held him after he missed a 3. Can't happen. The foul against Moody that was the 2nd foul can't happen simply because it's like 4 minutes into the game and you're getting your 2nd foul. I don't even think it was 4 minutes into the game. But you got a 2nd foul on something that was just undisciplined. Can't do that. Now, he hasn't done that all year. I think the frustration of what's happened the past couple of months is catching up with him. He's just frustrated because he wants to win, which, again, I'm all about. But you got to be able to control all your emotions when it comes to that. That's it. Those 2 fouls can't happen. But I'm just not peeved over it. You can't let it happen. The team needs you, but I think there's a care factor there. So
no, I'm fine.
That's why those were the 2 cheap fouls.
I've never had no issues with Jaren's care level at all. I think he gets to the point where he gets a little too overzealous, a little anxious, and that's where he gets his hand in the cookie jar in a sense. Like that's and Art said that was Quentin Post. I'm guessing that's the guy that you're talking about.
Sure.
Whatever. Anyway, Jaren makes a lot of bad decisions and puts him in a bad spot. It is what it is. My problem with tonight was you have a couple bad plays. You have to figure out a way to rectify it. You have to put yourself in a good spot because, like Art's saying, it is very mental. And what happened is he got kind of over his skis a little bit, got in his head, and at that point took him out of the game. He still had a decent game just overall, but it wasn't the game that you needed from a running mate that John needed tonight. The Grizzlies needed a running mate. And didn't have it. Let's go to the other one. Let's go to Desmond Bain. You talked a little bit about it. 19 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He went 4-10 from deep, just overall. And he played fine. A lot of bad turnovers. Let me look at his turnovers real quick. 3 turnovers.
Wasn't terrible.
I wasn't completely upset. He made a really stupid turnover there late in the game when Draymond picked his pocket a little bit. And that seems to kind of keep happening. With Bain, is it the loose handles that's so aggravating with him?
Yeah, he just, they tried to make him this off the dribble player that he can be. Like, it's great that he has it, but it's always the same thing. Like, that's something that is great for him to have, but should not be his go-to. Like, go-to should be shots, and you got to find a way to get him open shots. Like, I think I messaged you during the game. Like, somebody's got to tell Des he's only allowed to try and take bad defenders off the dribble. Like, can't try and take Draymond Green or Dyson Daniels off the dribble. Just can't happen because it consistently doesn't go very well. But, it's the same thing. Like, how do you get him to what he needs to get to, right? And there's too many times still where the team just looks lost, which is going to be what happens the rest of the season, right? Rest of offense wasn't looking great. Their offense itself has not looked great all year. Guys have looked lost. They clearly still look lost. That's not changing in 10 games or whatever it is. So maybe they can just go back to what they used to do, get them to it. But it's hard to do that when you have so many new faces playing well, right? Like, yeah, like it's just too much undisciplined basketball, too much. You're kind of like trying to get somewhere, but you don't really know where you're trying to get to. And that leads to passes into traffic that get deflected, that get stolen, leads to guys trying to create when they don't need to create and getting their pockets picked.
Yeah.
So team clearly doesn't have any intention of what they want to get to far too often.
Yeah. I've always said this, dribbling with purpose, like having purpose when you're dribbling, like you're going to get to that spot, like that's where you're going. You can get there, but the problem is too much of the hesitation dribbles, the in and outs, trying to create a little bit too much. These need to be purpose dribbles, purpose movements, right? Instead of the creation movements and creation dribbles. That's not what Bane is. If Bane knows, like, hey, I have a front line drive, I can get there. Like those are 2, maybe 3 hard dribbles, but they're easy dribbles. Like it's easier basketball. When he has to try to go around somebody and kind of create and juke and create and go around to get to the front of the rim, that's the issue. But eventually, if he can dribble with purpose, move with purpose, he'll be a much better player. The problem is he's having to do too much creation in this offense, and that's the issue. And Austin's saying it perfectly right here. Like there's no real structure in this offense. Like there isn't, and that's the end all be all. But it was fine, wasn't great. I do want to get to John Morant here. Obviously, he was the best player on the court for the Grizzlies. 36 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists. 5 of 8 from deep, which was very surprising to me. He did go 14 of 22, so he's like, I'll take those numbers every single game. Like the 14 of 22, very efficient, very good numbers. He did have 6 turnovers, which I'll take his turnovers due to the creation. Even though I don't like the 6, I'll take his turnovers a lot more than Bane's. Bane's just seem like they're just loose dribbles, loose handles. So, your thoughts on Ja?
Looks like John Morant.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have looked like the best player on the court on pretty much any court tonight other than the one he played on. Right? Like, looks awesome. Continues to be awesome and do what you need him to do. So, listen, if you get that night in and night out, it usually gives you a chance to win. Right. But you played against who you played against tonight, man. Stuff was just so awesome, right? But I mean, he looks locked in, right? And I don't think he has quit, right? I think he wants to prove something these last handful of games, which gives me more hope than anything else that you've seen, right? Because if he has a plan, if he's on a mission, if he's locked in, the team will follow what he's doing, right? That's what gives me hope that they can finish the season strong. Maybe if they get a favorable matchup, catch a little bit of fire, they're competitive in a playoff series at this point. Right. So, but dude, he looks like himself at the end of the game. That's the same thing. It's some sloppy turnovers, but I thought him and everyone out there looked like they lost their legs.
Yeah. Well, Ja was like, if you look at Steph, who is the OG, one of the greats, the first half he has, right, best player on the court. Second half, Ja looked like the best player on the court. It just went halves and halves, right? At this point, Ja couldn't finish. Curry ends up being able to use his vet leadership, surrounded by other guys who are vets. He's able to get his team to actually a finish, and that's where it all comes down to. Is Ja was the best player on the court the second half, but when Curry, when he was able to just completely milk the game away, that's where you kind of have to tip your hat in a sense to there. But overall, I thought that the Grizzlies, they played well, they played fine. I'm not going to break down every single number in every single game. But I just want to get into a lot of what they did right tonight. But if you're watching this, if you're first time, this is Grizz 101. We are the live post game show every weekday game. I'm Nate. I'm sorry, he's Nate. I'm DG. And so if you're watching this over on Twitter, thank you all for hanging out. Go ahead and hit the like button over there. But join us over at Bluff City Media, the YouTube page. There's a lot more of you over here. Commenting as the comments they flow throughout the entire game. And so if you want your comment to be read, because there are so many, it's hard for me to get to all of them, go ahead and hit the super chat, and it'll prioritize your comment. We'll make sure we spend some time reading through it. So if you have any of that, go ahead and hit it now. But Nate, I'm going to get to the actual Grizz trivia here in about 5 or 7 minutes here. I don't want to wait too long, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish our thoughts on the game overall, and then we'll look ahead to the Heat game because I know you're not going to be here, but you're looking at something, you're laughing at something. What are we looking at?
I just love that, like, Zach Edey gets a bunch of rebounds, a couple games, and the Edey clan comes out of the woodwork again back in the show, arguing with everybody and their mother. I actually am with the Edey clan on most of it. You know, he consistently.
Oh, you can't turn face and make me heel. Like, you've got to stay heel at this point. You
Well,
gotta be the bad guy.
If you would let me finish a thought, which is crazy, he consistently looks like cheeks in the first quarter of every single game he plays in. But by God, that dude has second halves. Continues to figure it out, which is, again, all I thought we'd need to be impressed by him all year. It's not his fault the Grizzlies thought a rookie center might win them some games. Like, that's not his fault. So, listen, shout out Zach Edey. Continues to look better in second halves outside that Celtics game where he was completely unplayable. God, that was rough. But I swear, every time I'm sitting there, I'm like, God, what are we doing? Dude can't make a shot in the restricted area as a 7-footer. He turns around in the second half. He starts looking awesome. So I still think if you're going to sit there and you're going to play him, like, you have to figure out how to get him more touches early. Like, you've got to get him more touches early. You have to, because otherwise you can't. If you're going to try and play him, you're going to try and use that. You can't freeze him out. You got to let them try and get into a rhythm. Like, you just have to.
Okay. What does that look like? Because that hasn't been the offense the entire season. And so I get what you're saying. I've seen a lot of touches just in general around the basket, and somehow he gets blocked, which is mind-boggling to me that he can't take the ball with force and get to the rim. I get whatever. He's still really tall, really big. Being able to just attack, he doesn't do, right? Everything is very finesse for the most part. That is his biggest weakness, in my opinion, around the rim, is there's no attacking. But if you get it to him, how does that look like? Are you throwing the ball down into the post with him, back to the basket, or do you run him off of screens? Do you let him float through the middle? Do you let him stay in the dunker spot off of a pick and roll on the strong side, and he's on the weak side dunker spot? Like, how do you get him the ball in the best scenario?
Try and get him a lob. Because I think you should try and get him some kind of post-up action. Just, like, draw it up early. You're going to get him a post-up. It's going to go how it's going to go. Just let him try it. Maybe say you're going to get him 2 in the first quarter. You're going to give him 2 post-ups. But the easiest thing to do is get him a lob because he doesn't have the chance to come down and get it stripped and get it blocked and get doubled. Get him something like that early, and then just try and get him touches. Again, I don't think feeding the ball to Edey is a good bet for you. Like, I don't think that's a good bet for you. I do think you need him to get in a rhythm for your team to be successful. So get him some touches. Otherwise, he's just sitting there and he's just getting cardio. And then you see what happens when he does start getting in the rhythm. He starts to get a little more fire under him. He starts to get more position, and he starts playing with more energy. When he's playing more energy, that's when he starts getting productive. So you got to try and get him energy off the bat. And if it doesn't go well, then guess what? You're probably pulling him anyways.
Okay. Well, what's your opinion about his picks, his screens, like, just overall? Do you like them? Whatever.
I mean, it's not great, but you're also, like, I think you spent too much of the season not going to it. You played without screens for so much of the season. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, here's what I think. I don't think he's a good screener.
Thank you.
But it's the same thing. I also don't think it's all his fault. Like, it's the same thing. You're asking a guy to do something, and you're putting him in a position that he didn't need to be in. Like, okay, you shouldn't have played with a rookie center this year. No one has said that more than me.
It's not about that.
No one has said that more than me. You also brought him in, and he said, hey, let's just go one-on-one and pass the ball around the perimeter the entire time. So he hasn't even put screens on half the year. So yeah, his screens aren't good, but also he's been put in absolute shit position.
Listen, I agree with that.
I don't know what to tell you.
That has nothing to do, like, if you were saying, hey, like if I was to ask the question, like on his rolls after a screen to the front of the rim, like what are the issues with that? Like, is he able to catch that going down the lane? Is he feeling comfortable? Like, how do you get the ball to him? If any of that you were to say, like, hey, he's just not being used properly and they're not been doing it enough, then I would understand that. But the screen itself is all I'm asking about, is him getting to the guy's hip and actually dudes dying on screen, just as we saw Steven Adams. He created so much space because he was able to get and hold a screen. Edey does not hold screens. He's just big. And I just wanted to ask the question because I want to kind of explain it, whether or not you liked it or not. Like he doesn't get there and force his way in. Like he literally, he is very much like my girls' basketball team. I tell them how to set screens. They're so worried about not getting a foul. So they're like super tight, super focused, and they're not moving and they're not going to hit anybody. Right. And that's what he looks like. He looks like he gets there and he's like, I'm Zach Edey and I'm not moving. Like that's what he looks like. He sounds like the guy from Night at the Museum, the guy you feed bubble gum to.
The statue. Yeah.
Yeah. You feed him. Yeah, that's what he reminds me of. But yes, I think he needs to work on that in the offseason, this season, whatever. I don't care. Just saying he needs to be able to get into people without creating too much of the chaos and the movement to get the fouls.
It's also just you need strength, right? Like you need some grown man strength against a lot of these dudes, which he just doesn't have yet, right? It's part of not knowing how to use your body and what you do have, right? So that's part of it, because it's one of the times where he's in a really good position for a screen and then he just gets pushed, right? And that's a problem too. Like sort of exactly what you're saying. Now we have been spoiled because we had Steven Adams, who like just you can't move him. There is no moving him. It's like what you unstoppable object meets immovable force, like, but the unstoppable object loses because the immovable force is Steven Adams. Like that's what we had. But I do want to bring up Art's point. The problem is, oh no, that I was bringing up something else anyways. There we go. The problem is that most of you guys want Lively. That's correct. That is the problem. I do want a Derek Lively or something like that, to be very, very clear on that. Sorry, I wanted to bring that up because you're not wrong, Art.
Gary wants to know, do you seriously think you know screening?
Yeah. I've watched quite a bit of basketball, and I'm not stuck with my head in Purdue. So, yes.
One thing I did do is I watched a lot of film. It was at least 32 minutes of film once. I feel like I do know. It was a complete, like, it was very much in depth about screening. It works on your hips and how you get into guys. You know what I mean? You got to get into them when you're screening. Sorry. Also, no, whatever.
Just to be clear, again, it's hilarious. This is why I love this, because the Edey hype comes out, and anything you say that isn't just like a full-on for Zach Edey is just taken as a slight. Completely agree. Completely agree. Yes, that is literally the entire point of my argument against having Zach Edey as a starting center for what team wants to win in the playoffs. This is the crux of the argument. Zach Edey can be successful and has proven he can develop and be successful in the NBA.
Yeah.
But by God, it didn't matter which rookie center you were taking this year. I thought it was a bad idea if you're going to start that center. So, yes. This I agree. Just want to let everybody know. Also, Jerry. Yes. This is correct.
100%.
They're
actually, I would almost say they're not as responsible, but they're really, really close, because it is about the setup. But it's about what my part of it is when you die on a screen, that means because you're setting on their hip. And you can't leave your hips. If you leave your hips, you're probably dead, or like Lieutenant Dan. But like you have to keep your hips. And so if you set the screens on hips, you cannot get around them. That's the biggest problem, is he comes over and he's too much on their face when he's setting picks. And so he's got to come in from the back a little bit more, Know what I mean?
And to be really clear, I think we have two guys that know how to run off a screen on this team as well. So, like, if you want to make that argument, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that either. So, yeah, to be clear, this is not hating on Zach Edey. It's me being mad, like I have been for the past 2 months, at what's up with the roster. Not mad at Zach Edey about it.
All right, but the Grizzlies lose tonight, 134-125. The Edey Hive will definitely come out. I'm the nice guy. He's the bad guy. Make sure you do not forget that part. But you're watching Grizz 101. Make sure you tune in after each and every game. We're going down the stretch. It's going to be a fun ride the rest of the way because I promise you it will be drama filled. But tonight the Grizzlies did come up a little bit short, but we do have something that everybody loves here. It's now being somehow people are trademarking our own Grizz Trivia into Meek's Trivia now. But this is not sponsored by Louisiana Chicken. It's not sponsored by Popeyes tonight. It's not sponsored by Dodge's Chicken. There is no sponsor. There is none. But this is Grizz Trivia. All right, Nate, we got a little bit of a different look. I hope you like it. Let me know what everybody thinks, but I figured we'd kind of bring it up on the screen a little bit, have some fun. But the question for Grizz Trivia tonight is, who are the two players who have played 97% or more games this season? Two guys played 97% or more games this season.
Jaron? That was a guess.
I need two. It said, who are the two players?
We typically do this one at a time, and it's fine.
Nope.
I'm sorry, didn't understand the parameters.
Nope.
All right, I will say Jaron and Wells.
Do I have a thing anymore?
Is that right?
Hold on. See if this. I'm gonna see if this works. I love it.
Edey.
It does work. All right, so your guesses are wrong. You do have one of those guys right, though.
Did you take into account the second one?
Who'd you say? You
Wells,
said Jaron
Wells and Edey.
Wells and Edey.
Jaron and Edey. No way. I really thought that was it. Dang. Can't be Santi because he missed all that time. Dez and Edey? Dez and Wells? I'm lost. Hold on.
I love this. I wish it wasn't like a. Hold on, it is on loop. Okay, I took it off loop, so I think I'm good now.
Okay, hold on. Let me
I've seen so many people that have gotten it right at this point.
Pippen and Wells?
Pippen and Wells.
Nah,
that one sucked. But
no way.
Yes.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
All right, so
that's surprising. Edey hasn't hit that number.
Edey has.
Oh, I guess he had that one injury I forgot about. Yeah.
So I will say that.
Dang. Yeah.
Let me go look at it real quick. Just within the stats on the games played. Do you know who has played every game this season?
I guess it'd be Pippen. Then it'd be Wells.
So Jalen Wells has played every single game this season.
Oh man.
He has started 70 of, I'm guessing 71 of the 76. They have not updated the numbers for this, but Wells is
so
the
bad.
Yeah.
That was so bad.
But it shocked me because I did not expect I didn't expect Pippen to play that much. There you go. Hold on. No, it's this one. There we go. Yeah, you got it right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I got everything else wrong, but I got that one right. God, that was terrible. That's what I get for going a hundo so fast last night. I just had to have a bit of brutal comeback to earth. Oh man, but That makes sense when I think about it. I just, in my mind, I thought Scotty had missed some time. I thought Jaren was trying to get that All NBA, so he was right there, but I guess not.
No, well, he was close to there, but if you look at
that's bad.
Jaren has played the 68 games, right? He's played over the 65. Clark played 64 games this season. Bain is up to 63. Kennard 60. Huff 60. Edie 60. So he was there, but obviously Edie went out for that stretch about midway through the season, just overall. But if you look at it, Ja Morant 45. If I was to tell you this far into the season and there's 6 games remaining, and I said Ja Morant is going to play less games than Jake LaRavia, who got traded mid-year, would you be upset?
Hold on. Let me find this real quick for you. No, I plead the fifth. That's how I was gonna find the Chappelle Show thing. I plead the fifth.
Yeah. So if you look at it at this point, Jake LaRavia has played 47 games, Ja 45. So as Chuck says, the best ability is availability,
which we don't got.
No,
we don't got it.
Anyway, but that was a fun part of that. I'm trying to play with the new scenes that StreamYard's allowing us to do. I thought it looked a lot better with us on the screen compared to being off the screen and back and forth. So,
yep.
Hopefully we'll kind of keep rolling with it. I just got to keep Nate's eyes away from him seeing what I'm seeing. I might need to restrict his access so he can only see certain
stuff. That makes
it
sound like you're trying to put something else on the screen. Sounds like there's some parental controls on Netflix or something.
Parental controls is don't look at my trivia.
Yeah. Also, Jerry, we don't think you suck either. We enjoy the back and forth with the Edie Hive, and we're all rooting for Edie. So
you know the thing I saw,
you don't think we suck.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. But Gary, I don't think Gary or Jerry.
It's Jerry to us. It's Gary in real life, but it's Jerry to us.
Oh, okay, Jerry.
Parks.
I thought it was Greer the whole time. I didn't read it. I didn't read the name because Greer was in here too. Okay, I didn't see it. Well, then never mind.
Yeah, he was.
Anyway,
I saw my guys. Shout out Greer.
All right. All right. Let's go ahead and finish it up. We do have the Heat game tomorrow. See, it's Gary. See, that's what I thought.
Watch Parks and Rec. It's Jerry.
What an idiot.
We talked about this.
I know the first time when we were arguing about it.
Yeah.
I'm done arguing about it. Heat TNT game, 6:30 start on Thursday. As I said, we plan to have John Roser here unless something happens. John Roser will be here. There will be no Nate. Nate is going to be off hanging out with family. But the most needed game.
Yes, because you need 4, and that's the first of the 4. So it's the most important game until the next most important game. Yeah, man, you gotta be able to get a win because that team is not good. They have been playing uninspired basketball. You've got to get a win. You just got to get one in the right column at this point. I mean, again, we talked about how well the team played tonight, but the fact is you have sucked fat donkey dong for a while now, and you keep dropping these games. You've got to be able to get one in the W column. Yeah. And you got against the Heat. I thought they would win tonight. I thought they played really well tonight, actually. But it's not the point. You got to get against the Heat, and then you need to rattle off 4 in a row if you're going to stay out of the play-in. Like, wow. Fact is, if you're going to stay out of the play-in, you need to rattle off these next 4. Because after that, you got the Nuggets, and then who's that last game of the year against?
Mavs.
Which
at that point, they could be up. I don't know who holds the tiebreaker, but they could be actually up on the Kings at that point. And so
they might be chilling at that point. But beside the point, I think you need to be able to go ahead and you need to rattle off. 3 of these next 4, like worst case scenario. Otherwise, you're going into play-in. If you only win 2 of these next 4, I think you're headed for the play-in.
All right.
Again, might not be the worst thing in the world.
So if you look at it, the Grizzlies. So Art's asking who the next 4 are real quick. Let me give you the next 6, just because we're 6 done.
I can do it. Grizz Trivia. I got this.
All right.
Heat. Pistons.
At Pistons.
Hornets.
At Hornets.
Wolves.
T-Wolves at home.
Those are the 4. The Wolves, I think, is super important if you're going to get 3 and not 4. Nuggets
at the Nuggets.
And then you got the Mavs.
Mavs at home on a Sunday, a sleepy Sunday. Now, what I will say is the schedule. Let me just talk through the schedule real quick. So you have the Heat, which is Thursday, which is another TNT game, right? You should be up for that. You're going to the Heat. Let me look at where their standings are just in general. So Miami, they're fighting with the 9-10 with the Bulls. They're in the playoffs, fighting with 9-10. There's pretty much a very hard chance that they can get up to the 8. So at that point, I don't think it's too hard to say that they should not win. But it's a must-win game Thursday night. And then you go to the Pistons, which if you look at the Pistons, the same thing. Pistons right there, they're behind Indy by 2 games, probably not catching Indy for that 4 spot. They're at the 5. So they're up 1 game on Milwaukee. They want to win. Just making it completely clear. They will want to win. That will be a tough game at Detroit. But then you do have the Hornets, which is a 3rd game. So you have Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday. That helps a little bit because you do have 2 days off. The problem is it's against the Hornets, who do not want to win. So they're going to find every way possible to lose that game. That's a guaranteed win no matter what. Then you come back Thursday that same week against the Timberwolves. The problem is, all right, scheduling. Timberwolves, TNT game. It starts at 8:30 Central.
I got plans that night. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you.
8:30 game Thursday at home. You play the next day in Denver at 8 o'clock. You have less than 24 hours. You have 23 and a half hours to your next game time, and you have to fly across the country. Probably a loss.
Only hope in that game is they are straight chilling for the last couple games of the season. Yep. Like more than straight chilling. They're like, hey, we're actually trying to fight for a worse position or something like that. I sort of have that written up as a schedule loss.
Yeah, it should be a schedule loss.
And that's part of why I think you need an X4.
Yep. Then you have Sunday at back at home. It's an afternoon game, which is going to be your 3rd game in 4 days. A lot of travel there in between, but it is what it is. But I do have a question. This is a Meeks Trivia special for sure. The simple question is, the Grizzlies, let's say they get to the play-in there, Nate, and you're the 7-8 because you can't drop lower than the 8 at this point. And we're there and we're playing whoever it might be for the 7th spot, and we lose that first game. So now you're at home. Now you're at home, the 7 or 8, playing for the 8th spot against a team that just won. You have that game. If you win that game, you are in the playoffs. You will take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, I give you that scenario to say, would you rather win that and get into the playoffs and take on OKC, or would you rather lose that game and get into the actual top 14 of, which would be probably the 14th? I don't think you can get the 13th spot, the 14th pick in the NBA draft, to which, if you can get to the 14th pick, you actually receive your pick back from Washington for the 1st round pick, and you give them a 2026 2nd round pick. And I think it would come by the way of Boston. I believe that's what that pick is. So if you lose and you're out of the play-in, you get your 1st round pick. You get the 14th pick unless you strike it rich in the lottery and you move up a couple spots. So you get the 14th pick back, and you give up a 2026 2nd, or you can go the play-in and take on Oklahoma City Thunder.
So even with the flattened odds, it's impossible to get the 1st overall pick with 14, right? Even with the flattened odds, that's impossible, right?
I don't think it's impossible, but I think you have like a 0.1 or something like that.
Adam Silver has this entire thing rigged. He's not letting you get it, just to be really clear. Adam Silver's the worst commissioner.
And Art's asking, is it protected? Yes, it's protected. It's protected 1st to 14.
So if you make the playoffs, you lose it. If you don't, you keep it.
Correct.
Yep. It really doesn't matter, man. It's subjective. No. Objectively, like on paper, it's better for the team to lose all these games and try and fall completely. Like, It'd be better for the team to fall completely out of the play-in. To be honest, if that's going to be what you're looking at, because you have a better chance of getting a better pick in a pretty loaded draft. F these nerds, dude. You play to win the game. You play to win the freaking basketball game, dude. Like you don't play to lose basketball games when you have your core there. You're not augmenting to go get another rookie unless it's Cooper Flag. Outside of that, I don't need another rookie. Try and win basketball games. If you get your ass kicked, then learn lessons from it. Nah, man. You try and win. Forget these nerds, dude. You got way too many nerds operating these things anyways. They're like, well, on paper, Luke Kennard shoots 47% from three. They forget the fact that he's not getting that shit off in the playoffs. Like, dude, no. We talked about this the other day. I think we weren't on the show anymore. Too many nerds running the show.
Oh my God. Nerd alert in the Grizzlies front office. My God.
Go try and win the game, dude. Like at some point you just gotta just like let them hang. And if you get beat, you get beat. But go try and play to win. Yep. Yes. You try and play to win.
Let me explain something. I do not want them to lose, right? I do not want them to lose. But I will say that if the Grizzlies play hard and they just don't have it, like if they have the effort and they just cannot pull it together with all the stuff that's been going on the regular season, and then they get to the playoffs and they can't get it together, they're a head case, mental, whatever. Maybe somebody gets hurt. I don't know. I feel so much better once I kind of like figured that out, that the restrictions on that pick were, as long as if it's in the lottery, then you get to keep it. Once I found that out, and I found out that you only have to give up a second, that made me feel so much better just overall. And so it is a nice, consolation piece. Like it's a piece that, when you maybe you play Wheel of Fortune and you just never got anything right, and they still end up giving you the 2,500 that pops up after the game's over. Like that's kind of how it is, right? So it is one of those. But you either if I get to pick, I get the 14th pick, or I get the other, like I just get to go. That's fine. I get to go to the playoffs. Cool. But I just need one or the other.
Yeah. I was actually talking to a guy today here. He's a big Jazz fan. Obviously, they're very much so. And they're running to get Cooper Flag, yet another great white hope for Utah, who continues to have great white hopes fail them. But I talk with him all the time because he's a big basketball fan. I don't think losing should be rewarded. And I think in the long run, it's typically not. Like, look at the 76ers process where it's got there.
Right.
I just don't think it should be rewarded. I don't think it's in the spirit of the game. And at the end of the day, I think that, I don't know, maybe I'm too sentimental. I think stuff like that matters. And the integrity of the game matters. That's why I can't stand Adam Silver. So I think that you should always play to win. And then if you play to win and it doesn't work out for you, that's better than trying to lose and actively hurt your chances.
Yeah.
So I think there's not much of a difference. More than likely you're getting the 14th pick, or you're getting somewhere 15 to 17. Regardless, I don't think there's that much of a difference there. If there's anything Kleiman has done really well in his tenure, it's trade up.
What do you mean? How are they gonna trade up in this draft?
I mean, heck if I know, but he seems to find a way. Gave up Melton for Roddy.
Okay.
Well. Listen, I'm just saying I don't care that much about the difference between 14 and 17, and it's so unlikely you get anywhere above 14.
Yeah.
At that point.
That's the issue, is like I don't even know. I was trying to go back and look what picks they have, and I still cannot figure out what picks they got from Washington. Like I'm still struggling to find that out just overall. But in my opinion, I thought it was Washington's second round pick, but from my understanding, it is not their second round pick, which would have been a high leverage pick. So we'll see.
I'm gonna trade it away for a second rounder anyways.
I'm trying to see how in the world. Here it is. Okay, I finally found it. So if you're looking for anything, realgm.com is the one that has the most information about this, because I've not found it any other place. but real GMs actually has the full breakdown of everything. So the second round pick, they had more favorable of Memphis, Boston, New York Knicks than Orlando, whatever. And so at that point, that's the issue. And so they also have the less favorable Washington and Golden State. There's a lot of restrictions there just overall. So either way, yes, D'Angelo's saying it could be a 2042nd. We don't know. But
yeah,
that's the issue.
I also want to give one more shout out because the crash out's always pretty real as of the past month. I feel like every show is a crash out show. Astronomo has suggested Obi Toppin, Josh Green, and now beef stew as the answer for the Grizz tonight. And I just want to say I appreciate the crash out that those guys are going to save the franchise. And that's not facetious. I do appreciate the crash out. I think it's awesome. Actually, two of those guys actually would really like on this team. I don't know where Josh Green came from. The other two I actually can see some things for. Yeah. But again, crash out's always here. Astronomo's always leading the charge. I appreciate you.
Well, and as Lauren says, we're on the street as DG and Nate are getting traded to Phoenix per
too hot.
King Meeks. Is it too hot?
Yeah, dude. Have you been to Phoenix in the summer?
I have not been to Phoenix in the summer.
I'm Irish, dude. I would just burn to a crisp. There'd be nothing left of me.
Well, I am pretty translucent. So in the winter, you can kind of see through me at times. You can see all my veins.
No. And, bring this up, too. I know this is completely off the rails at this point. But, yeah, Lauren, that's the whole reason I want Isaiah Stewart on this team.
It's not about basketball.
Yeah, I don't want it for like a basketball highlights. I want it because somebody's afraid that guy's going to destroy me. I better watch myself. We need more psychos on this team.
All right, that'll do it for this show tonight. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Nate will not be here, but he says that the Grizzlies will win 4 straight games.
Big dub.
I'm here to see it. And so the schedule going forward, I don't believe that we have many weekends left, but we will not. So we'll be here Thursday night. Roser should be here with us after that TNT game. So it'll be looks to be usually about a 9:00 start there for the show. So right after the game ends, we'll be here. No game Saturday, but then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll make sure. And then Sunday, the only way we will do a show Sunday is if it has really like big implications. Like if it's a huge game, big implications on the game to the fact of if they win, they get this seed, if not, whatever, then we will try to do a show on Sunday. But if we know that we're going to the playoffs or we're going to do play-in stuff, then I will not be here on that Sunday. So, yeah, that's it. That's all we got. All right. It's been a great show. I was about to say I had nothing else to say, but thank y'all for hanging out with us. Do me a favor before you leave. As always, be very kind. Go ahead and hit the like button if you can. It helps us, helps keep the channel growing. Great night. One of our biggest nights of the year so far, just in numbers wise. So can't thank y'all enough. There's obviously a lot of Warriors fans came through here just to probably gloat. But in all honesty, listen, we talked so well about the Warriors. They probably didn't want to be too mean too quickly because we were talking very nice about them. I love Curry. I love the guy, the player. And so it's hard for me to be upset with him when he goes off like that. But
what are you gonna say?
Overall, what a great night! What a good fun game. Gave me a lot of hope. And then just take it away. If the Grizzlies lose 134-125. We'll be here Thursday night. I will be. Roser should be. Nate will not be. He'll be hanging out with some family. But we'll see you next time. We'll see Nate on Tuesday when we take on the Hornets. Very good game. We better win that one. But we'll see y'all next time. Be nice and tell your friends.